Welcome back to the Procrastination Pit Stop, your source for getting fuel to keep you going. And today we have another amazing guest, Angel Bateast, relationship coach, recently graduated from the J. Chevy School. Angel, welcome to the show. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you. How are you?
I am excellent. Thank you for asking. So before we actually get into the nitty gritty of everything, we do start off with an icebreaker here. And today's question for you is, if you could instantly master any skill, what would it be and why?
Would instantly master retaining information. I think that the more knowledge you have, the better you could be at skills and learning things and getting things done and better in your life. So I feel like the faster you can learn and retain and get things going, it can improve your life.
That's a pretty amazing skill. I'm sure a lot of people would like to have that one.
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
So why don't we start off by getting a little bit of information about you, Angel, and your little bit of your background, where you're coming from, and sort of the journey that brought you to where you are today.
Well, I'm from Chicago. Born or born in Chicago. Both of my parents are amazing people. I have an older brother. My little brother and sister, they're twins. So we had a great childhood. I got into some like obstacles when I got into my teens, a little bit older, trying to find my way. I'm just the journey of life. It got me to where I am, just learning a lot of different things. And I had to go through a lot of different obstacles and trials and tribulations to get to where I am. So I feel like that got me to where I am today, to make me a better person to help other people be better as well.
Okay. And so as a relationship coach, what is procrastination to you? Like, what does it mean to you personally, and how do you define it?
When you procrastinate, like your life, you're not happy with your life. I feel like you're not at a place where you want to be, and you become complacent, you become lazy, you could even go into depression, you keep putting things off. Like I'll get to it tomorrow, I'll get to it later. Because you could be living in fear, doubt, unknown can stop you from doing things. So I think procrastination, it hinders you. It blocks you from where your full potential, you know, to be in life.
And what's your secret sauce to stay motivated, inspired, and not fall into procrastination?
That is a very good question. My secret sauce, I'm a spiritual person. So I do pray. I do like uplifting music. I like to be around people who will uplift you as well. Like you can't be around people who are draining you, who are speaking negativity, who are dragging you down because you don't have any hope. You know what I'm saying? You get lost in what they're saying and believing what they're saying about you when you have to believe in yourself.
And in your opinion, what are some of the most important skills that you can have as a person to not, fall into those traps?
Well, I feel like self-awareness. I feel like self-awareness, boundaries, respect and love for yourself. Like if you're not easily influenced, because in today's society you can be easily influenced or impacted by certain things, and you lose sight of yourself trying to be someone else or be something that you're not.
Yes, that is true. There are a lot of distractions, a lot of information, and a lot of perceived things that society imposes upon us. Do you think that that's a big contributor to people feeling overwhelmed and maybe procrastinating just because they're getting all this information?
Yeah, I mean, people see images for a glimpse of a moment. They don't really know what's going on behind closed doors. They don't really know if these are these people real lives. So you're trying to be somebody that you don't even know. So you're like killing yourself or becoming insecure or doubting yourself or thinking negatively because you don't have what other people have when they might not even have it themselves.
So, are you of the opinion that a lot of what we see on social media is very, superficial, and we're not really getting a glimpse into the real?
I think it's a give and take. I think some people are really living their life, and I think some people are fraud. I've um I've come across I've seen people and I know how they're living, and then what they portray on social media is not it. It's not it. So but okay. So you just don't know what to believe unless you know the person. I guess.
Okay. Well, that's a fair assessment. You know, you never really know until you know the person in kind of real life. So let's go back to you for a second here. You recently graduated from the J. Shetty School as a relationship coach. What what made you choose relationships as a focus for your coaching?
I went through a lot of different things as like far as when I was growing up uh to adolescent to a young woman, a young lady, just trying to value yourself, learning to value yourself and love yourself. And if I feel like if a lot of people did that, it wouldn't be so many damaging relationships because hurt people, right?
Mhm.
So that's why the culture is so kind of dysfunctional and distorted because it's so many broken people that and they're trying to fill voids with relationships, sex,
Mhm.
drugs. It's just so many different things that you try to fill this empty void with. But if you would just tap into yourself and learn yourself and grow within yourself, you won't need those outside sources.
No, that's very true. I know somebody mentioned to me that maybe you would know better. Somebody mentioned to me that the majority of relationships that end in divorce, like 50% of marriages end in divorce. And somebody said that, it could be because we are trying to fill that void and we're trying to get this other person to either, fill that part of us and then, we're not happy with that. And then, that leads to the discord. Or what do you think? Is it because we get into relationships when we don't love ourselves and we're looking for that love and that's why relationships fail? Or is it something else?
I think that it could be a multitude of things, right? It could be the lack of love that you got as a child, and then you're searching for love somewhere else, so you're trying to seek it in another person, which could be a companion or a friendship or, whatever. You could have been in a relationship and been treated bad, and then you want to get into a new one and try to show that you are worthy of being treated right. So you're pouring yourself into somebody that person doesn't want, that they're not ready to have either. So I mean, I feel like it's a lot of trauma that people go through, and they try to fill it with, like I said, it could be a relationship with a romantic or a friendship, anything. You could try to fill that void with, you could become infatuated with a person and
Mhm.
make them somebody that they're not because you're not who you want to be. So you're making them into some type of hero, or you're idolizing somebody that they're not even what you think they are, until you love yourself enough and you will see that, like, why am I putting this person on a pedestal? That's not who they are.
Gotcha. So it's kind of like and so how would somebody distinguish that if they're in a relationship and they're going in there because a lot of us go into these relationships blind, right? I mean, let's face it, the majority of us are not very aware when we get into relationships to begin with, right? So how can we sort of navigate that and sort of check that to avoid maybe getting into a relationship that isn't really serving us or the other person?
Well, I feel like you have to be kind of in a healthy state of mind to see red flag or distinguish disrespect, right? So like if somebody's disrespecting you, or they're stepping out of the boundaries that you don't like and you're still accepting it. You know what I'm saying? If you're accepting stuff that you don't want, but you don't want to be alone either, so you stay there
Mm.
because you don't want to be, you rather feel that pain versus the pain of loneliness. So it's just to have somebody next to you, just to have somebody to talk to, just to say you have somebody, like, oh yeah, I'm married, or I have a girlfriend, or I have a boyfriend, I have a husband, I have a wife, just to say that, but you really don't have it. You don't want to be alone, but you really are alone.
And so is that really is that something that's really common just to kind of for lack of a better word kind of like settle because we're just afraid of being alone? Do you think that's really common?
Yeah, I think that's really common. Yeah, I do. I think that um a lot of people are afraid to walk away from, friendships, relationships, because they don't want to feel that emptiness. But if they take the time to interact with, when you love yourself and date yourself or hang out with yourself, like, you have to love yourself first before somebody else can. Because if you don't show yourself respect and love, how is somebody else going to do it? So if I'm allowing somebody to disrespect me, my self-esteem is pretty low. I don't trust myself. I don't like myself. So that's how that person's going to treat me too, because they know I don't value myself. So why would they?
And how would you go about telling somebody to, to kind of take care of themselves? I mean, I'm sure to you it sounds like I'm sure to you it sounds like a very easy thing, natural thing, but I'm sure there are many of us that we really don't even know what that entails. So what does that look like to you? Like, how would you explain that to somebody?
I feel like it starts with your inner being. Like, even if you're finding like-minded people, if you're going into different groups or you're signing up for different things that you like, you're with people that make you smile and laugh. Like, if you join an art club, if you join the gym, if you join, I don't know, a running club, any type of, you could be in a movie club. It's different clubs where you could join and be with all around like-minded people, right? So you won't feel like, you feel like, okay, I'm with somebody who has the same type of feeling. They like the same things I like, where you don't feel alone. The only time you'll feel alone really is like when you're at home or something by yourself. But you can go out and do different things where you're not actually by yourself. It's a community. If you're not a spiritual person, or if you don't go to church, or different religions, you could do different things like that and serve in the community and meet and join different groups that way too. So it's different ways to show yourself self-care and self-love outside of getting your hair and nails and stuff done. Take care of your inner, and then it'll just, your outside will glow as well. And then if you want to work on your like appearance, if you want to change how you dress or your hair, or you just want to do something different to make yourself feel good, that helps too.
Okay. So start on the inside and then the outside comes after. And get involved with like-minded individuals, and I guess just being your authentic self, right? Like,
Yeah.
not pretending to say. I know a lot of people do this when they're first dating. I'm guilty. It's like, I really like this person, and it's like, oh yeah, so let's go to this this concert or this place. Oh man, I hate that for it's like, all right, I'll go. Yeah, they're great. And then you're trying desperately to find one song that you can prove that you like it, and then it just sort of unravels from there, right?
Right. If you're not, a lot of people, I think they may be physically attracted to somebody. So they're trying to like what they like. They're just not compatible. There might be a lot of chemistry. There might be a lot of sex appeal, the
Mm.
physicality. But you just don't have the same hobbies and interests, and that's gonna show up eventually.
Hmm. Do you think it's important for you know eh, we're in two different sort of states of mind here, right? I mean, you've got the opposites attract, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, so do you think for a healthy relationship, for a stable relationship, be it whatever kind of relationship, be it friends, romantic, whatever, do you think that it's important to have all the same interests all the time, or is it completely different ones? Oil and water?
No, no, I think it's a balance. I think, okay, maybe you were dating, right? If you like to go bowling and I like art, we have to compromise, right? Sometimes we'll have to go do the things that you like, and sometimes we'll have to do things that I like, because we care about each other. It's just, I'm not going to be selfish and be like, no, we're only going to do paint with a twist. I'm not bowling. We're not doing a bowling league. No, that's not fair to that person. I'm being selfish. So you do have to compromise. If you love somebody and you want to be with them, you're going to embrace their world too.
Okay. So in your definition there, what would be the difference between something that you would consider like chemistry and infatuation? What would your definition be of those?
I think if you're like chemistry, I think like chemistry is undeniable. Like, it's just there. It's like, it's kind of like natural, kind of like organic, right? When you're infatuated with somebody, you're like kind of obsessed. You're like kind of, you'll do anything to have this person, and it might not even be something you like, but you just want this person so bad, that it's consuming you. I think that's kind of like, it's like, to me, it's like kind of like an obsession. I don't think that's healthy. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? I don't think that's a health.
it's very true. So why don't we go into I mean, you mentioned that you're a relationship coach and you've obviously done a lot of reading on the subject as well. Do you have any success stories that you can share with us? Maybe some highlights of your
Well, in my journey, I've met so many different people, right? So I just love seeing people love themselves back to life. I think that's the greatest reward to me, for me to have impacted somebody's life, for them to smile and look in the mirror and love themselves. That's the biggest joy for me, because if you show up as a light for yourself, you're gonna show up as a light for everyone around you, and you can pour into other people. The better you are, the better you can be to other people. So the happier you are, the more joy you have, the more peace you have, then you can show up for other people. And I just get excited when I see people living their life at their best capacity and empowering them to love themselves, so they can show up for their family, for their kids, for their friends, for their coworkers. If we had, if it was more people like that in the world, I think it'd be a better place.
for sure, for sure. So there's a question I'm sure that's on a lot of people's minds too. I mean, I know it's been on mine before, for sure. In terms of a relationship though, like how do you define that balance between self love?
I know, right? So you don't want to be selfish. Sometimes there's a season for to be selfish. Sometimes there's a season to take the time that you need, because if you're not going to show up healthy for somebody, that season you probably need to take to yourself, because you're only going to be detrimental to someone else. You're only going to take your pain and hurt and insecurities out on someone else. So if you need to take that time to yourself,
Hmm.
which a lot of people don't, if you take that time to yourself and heal and go through it, because it's not just going to go away. You got to go through it. And if you would take that time, it might be selfish to some people, because you are going to lose people in that process, because everybody's not going to understand that you need time to yourself. So you have to take that time and heal and grow, and not worry about what other people say. That's the only way. It won't look selfish, but if you try to explain it to people and if they can't receive it, then they're just not meant to be in your life, I think.
Very good, very good. So why don't you tell me a little bit about what you're doing now? I mean, your current endeavors. What are you up to these days?
Well, right now, just graduating, right? So, I went to like a retreat, a women's retreat, and I met some women, and I'm going to be doing like a couple speaking events. So I'm
Oh,
excited
okay.
about that. Did some networking. And so that's right now, that's what I'm working on. And I know one of them is an empowerment brunch for women. And then another one is to help young teens with their self-esteem and stuff like that. And so that's what I'm working on right now, just trying to um cultivate who I am, my brand, show up as my best self, and present myself to the world, because I'm the product, so I got to get out there and network
No, of course, and you've got a couple of these speaking engagements. Are these going to be online? Are they going to be in person?
in person.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that sounds really good, and those are really good. You know, obviously working with those groups, you'll get a lot of the exposure that you need. Do you know if they're going to branch out on online or anything like that? Do you know if they're gonna video any of it or?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't think the women empowerment. I don't know. I think it's more personal. I don't think it's going to be something that's going to be broadcasted, because they would. I think they would explain that, and that's not part of it. No.
So, if you had to give one powerful, all-encompassing tip to really be successful in terms of self-love and relationships in general, what would you say is that one sort of big tip?
One big tip: embrace your beauty. I think all of us are beautiful people, and I think that we're always looking externally for something versus we hold it, we have it, and we're always looking to get it from somewhere else and somebody else or something else or a title or something. I think if we embraced ourselves and loved ourselves, it that's the biggest gift you could have.
Okay. So you would say just to love yourself and to, have self-love and compassion for yourself for wherever you're at then.
Absolutely. You have to have it. You have to have it. Forgiveness. Like you have to start with when you forgive, it's for you. So you have to forgive yourself too, also the other people that hurt you as well.
That's an interesting question there too. I know that it's something that I personally struggled with at one point in my life too. And I still don't know how I did it. What do you tell people who ask you how do you forgive yourself? How do you even start that process? Because I went through it and I can't even tell you.
I went through it too. It's a journey. It's easy to stay mad, right? It's hard to try to heal those wounds because you have to face yourself and take accountability for your part. If you're not ready to take accountability and be self-aware, you're not ready to grow. You're not ready to heal, and be whole and complete. That's something you have to be ready to face all those demons, and you have to get it out. You just have to get it out because it's like drinking poison. Even if you put a drop in there, the poison is still in there. But you got to get it out. You have to release it so you can be the best you. You can show up as your best self because if not, you're going to keep attracting damaged people just like you. And you're going to keep living in this dysfunctional, chaotic, traumatic cycle over and over. And you're just torturing yourself, like insanity. You trying to do something different, but you get the same result because you're going to say, you're just this different person, same attitude. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I can understand that. So you can until you can, forgive yourself and love yourself and show compassion to yourself, then you really can't one show that to other people truly,
mhm.
and you can't receive that from other people truly. Is that correct?
Everybody, you're never going to be 100% whole or complete, right? You're constantly evolving and growing. It's always something that somebody could have just made you mad 5 minutes ago, right? So
Mhm.
it's like what you have to self-control, the self-control, learning self-control, learning how to control your temperament, learning it's so much. People get angry so quick that you just the cycle just keeps going and going because you get mad over and over and over again. And it's like in a relationship, they could do something really small and it keeps piling up. You don't say anything, you brush it under the rug, and then they do one little thing and then it just erupts because you didn't take the time to address the one thing that started this whole big mountain of stuff for nothing. People don't
Mhm.
communicate. You have to communicate. You have to communicate.
That is a very good point. Communication is key as well. And something that somebody said to me a lot, and they say it a lot as a joke, but to me, at what point, there's compromise, there's communication, but you know how they always say something akin to, if you really want, do you want a relationship or do you want a new right?
Mm.
So, kind of at what point do we, I mean, we have to stand up for ourselves, obviously, right? At
Yes.
one point, but then we've also got to learn when, I guess it's not really worth it. We have to let go. Is that like the balance we're always striving for?
I feel like you gotta pick your battles. I feel like you don't everybody well not I'm not gonna say everybody. A lot of people want to win. Like it's not about winning or losing an argument. It's like coming up with a resolve or agreeing to disagree or I just may not think like you. And that's okay. We may not think alike. I'm teaching you a new way or you're showing me a different way. Some people just like to be in control. And if they don't like what you're saying, that's just the end of it. It doesn't matter, right? But you have to be open. So I'm raised different than you. So how I was raised in my household can be totally different from so it's not that may not be common sense for me. You'd be like, that's common sense. The way you were raised is common sense, but I may not think that way. So it's like you have people, everybody lifestyle is different. Everybody grew up differently. Everybody was raised differently. Everybody, you know, culture, it's so many different elements to it. So you just have to be open-minded, and you can't just shut somebody down because you don't like what they say.
No, that okay. So, along with compassion and understanding, you have to allow space for the other person.
You have to allow space for the other person.
So, just swinging back now, you mentioned that you've got these two events coming up. Very exciting. So, over the next year, what do you say is next for you besides these two events, and what are your aspirations?
Oh wow, over the next year. I really want to expand my brand. I really I want to do like this. I want to do more speaking at events, podcasts. I want to build up my clientele. Obviously, I want to do that. I want to just branch out and help as much as I can. I was going to be reaching out to this event to serve, like just to serve with my services, just to volunteer, just to put just to put yourself out there, just to show and get some support from people, and then I could build clientele from there as well. So it's just like a lot of different things I'm trying to work on. As far as this is all new for me because I'm in the medical field, so me going into this is something I never thought I would be an entrepreneur. I never thought that I would be trying, starting over and doing something like this. So it's all new for me. I'm just excited about my future, and I just can't wait to meet people and encounter different people to learn and grow and better myself to better others.
Those are some very, yeah, very good goals, very good aspirations for sure. We should all, we should all do the same. Just always be evolving, always be growing. Now, do you think there's something that we should have talked about today, or maybe that I should have asked but I didn't?
No, I feel like you touched on a lot of different things as far as in relationships. I mean, relationships is a tough thing. It's so many different elements. It's so many different things that people are going through and that are facing, and um have built up inside, or they have these ideas that they're afraid to embrace or let out, or let their light shine. So it's just so many different elements to relationships, just not romantic or friendships and loving yourself. It's just so many different elements to growing and evolving as a person, because we're all attached to people. So I feel like the better we are, the better we can be for our community and people around us. And I feel like I mean, that's my passion. And I feel like if we all had kind of had that mindset to help others, we'd be in a better situation.
Very true. Very true. I mean, we have a lot of discord in the world. We'd be all be a lot better off if we can just be a little kinder to one another, a little more understanding. And lastly, Angel, how can our listeners contact you?
My website I don't have up right now. I'm working on that. That is something that I'm working on. Just graduating, so that's something I'm working on. But at my social media platform, all that stuff I'm working on. So I don't really have that, but all I have is an email address.
Well, do you want to share your email address with our listeners?
Can I share? I can share my email address. It's petit.angel@gmail.com.
Okay, and so it's batiste.angel@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'll be sure to leave that in the description for our listeners who want to get out and reach out. If you do need any if you do need any help with relationships or anything like that, or you feel like you could deal with talking to someone, reach out to Angel. And thank you for listening again to Procrastinator's Pit Stop. And let's keep on moving forward and tune in next time for more inspiration and motivation.
Thank you.